Or good morning/afternoon/evening, everyone. Let's be honest. Self-discipline isn't easy. If it were, we'd all wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym, eat perfectly balanced meals, and finish every project ahead of schedule. But we don't. Because discipline isn't about willpower. It's about understanding why we do what we do and making choices that align with that purpose. Discipline is not an innate talent, nor is it a trait that some people are simply born with. It is a skill, a muscle that grows stronger with consistent effort and weakens with neglect. Just like physical muscles in the body, discipline requires regular exercise to develop and maintain. It is not something that appears overnight, nor does it come naturally to anyone without practice. The key to strengthening this muscle lies in the small, consistent actions we take every day, each decision shaping our ability to stay committed, focused, and resilient. When we think about discipline, we often associate it with willpower, as if those who possess strong discipline have an extraordinary ability to resist temptation or push through challenges effortlessly. But the truth is, discipline is not about a sudden burst of strength. It is about training yourself to show up and do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Just as an athlete does not become strong by lifting weights once, a person does not become disciplined by making the right choice only occasionally. It is the repetition of small, disciplined actions that compound over time to create an unshakable foundation. Consider the process of learning a new habit. At first, it feels difficult, even unnatural. Waking up early, sticking to a workout routine, reading instead of scrolling through social media, all of these require an intentional effort. But as you continue to practice these behaviors, they start to feel automatic. The discomfort lessens, and what once seemed like a struggle becomes second nature. This transformation happens because discipline, like a muscle, adapts to the demands placed upon it. The more you push yourself, the stronger it becomes. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to develop discipline is expecting instant results. They start with enthusiasm, hoping that a few days of effort will lead to significant change. But when they don't see immediate progress, they become discouraged and give up. The reality is that building discipline is a slow, incremental process. Small victories matter, and consistency is far more important than intensity. Doing something small every single day is far more powerful than making a massive effort once and then quitting. Another important factor in strengthening the muscle of discipline is learning to embrace discomfort. Many people avoid disciplined action because it feels hard, but growth only happens when we push beyond our comfort zones. Just as a muscle grows stronger when it is challenged with resistance, our self-discipline strengthens when we choose to do what is difficult rather than what is easy. Every time we resist the urge to procrastinate, say no to distractions, or follow through on a commitment, we reinforce our ability to stay in control. Ultimately, discipline is a skill that can be developed by anyone willing to put in the effort. The more we exercise it, the easier it becomes to make disciplined choices in all areas of life. It is not about being perfect or never failing. It is about getting back up, staying consistent, and trusting that every small act of discipline is making us stronger. Discipline is not just about willpower or sheer determination. It is deeply connected to purpose. When you understand why you are doing something, your discipline becomes natural, almost effortless. Without a strong reason driving your actions, discipline fades quickly and tasks feel like burdens rather than meaningful steps forward. A clear and compelling purpose provides the fuel needed to sustain discipline, even in the face of challenges, distractions, or setbacks. Think about the times in your life when you were most committed to something. Whether it was a personal goal, a professional ambition, or a responsibility to someone you care about, your level of discipline was directly tied to the importance of that goal. When your why is strong enough, discipline is not something you have to force, it becomes an extension of your commitment. The more connected you are to the reason behind your actions, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. On the other hand, when people struggle with discipline, it is often because they lack a clear sense of purpose. If you wake up every day without a strong reason to push forward, small distractions become overwhelming and excuses take over. You start rationalizing why you can skip the gym, why you can delay a project, or why you don't need to follow through on commitments. The problem isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of connection to a deeper reason for doing those things. Purpose acts as an anchor, keeping you steady even when motivation fades. Motivation is temporary. It fluctuates based on emotions, energy levels, and external circumstances. But purpose is different. Purpose is consistent. It provides long-term direction and sustains effort even on days when you don't feel like showing up. When people rely solely on motivation, they get stuck in cycles of starting strong but quitting early. Those who rely on purpose, however, keep going because their actions are tied to something bigger than momentary feelings. The strength of your discipline is directly proportional to the clarity of your why. The more meaningful and personal it is, the easier it becomes to make disciplined choices. A student who studies hard just to pass a test may struggle with discipline, but one who studies because they have a deep passion for their future career will find it much easier to stay committed. An entrepreneur who is only in business for money may lose discipline when things get tough, but one who is driven by a mission to create impact will persist no matter what. When your purpose is clear, discipline becomes second nature. Instead of forcing yourself to take action, you are pulled forward by a vision that excites and drives you. Your why eliminates the need for constant motivation because your actions are aligned with something meaningful. Every decision becomes easier because it is not just about what you have to do, but about who you are becoming. When discipline is fueled by purpose, it is no longer a struggle. It is simply the path you choose to walk every day. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes, influenced by emotions, energy levels, and circumstances beyond our control. Some days you feel inspired, ready to take on any challenge. Other days you struggle to get started, finding excuses to delay or avoid important tasks. This inconsistency is why relying on motivation is a losing strategy. If you depend on feeling motivated to take action, you will always be at the mercy of your mood, and progress will be slow or non-existent. Discipline, on the other hand, does not rely on feelings. It relies on systems and habits that keep you moving forward even when you don't feel like it. The most successful people in any field understand that waiting for motivation is a waste of time. They don't rely on inspiration to work hard. They build routines that make action automatic. A professional athlete does not train only when they feel like it. They follow a schedule, showing up every day regardless of how they feel. A writer does not wait for the perfect moment of inspiration. They sit down and write consistently. Systems remove the need for motivation by creating a structured path to success, eliminating the daily decision of whether or not to take action. When you build strong habits, you no longer need to convince yourself to do the right thing. Habits make discipline effortless because they remove the friction of decision making. If you have to decide every morning whether or not to go to the gym, some days you will find an excuse not to. But if going to the gym is part of your daily routine, something you do automatically at a set time, it becomes second nature. The less effort it takes to start, the more likely you are to stay consistent. Systems also play a crucial role in eliminating the need for motivation. A system is a set of actions or structures designed to help you achieve a goal. If you want to eat healthier, a system might involve meal prepping on Sundays so you don't have to make a healthy choice every single day. If you want to read more, a system might include setting an alarm to remind you to read for 20 minutes before bed. These small intentional structures ensure that progress happens without relying on willpower. Another advantage of systems and habits is that they remove the emotional resistance to taking action. When something is unfamiliar or difficult, the brain naturally tries to avoid it. But when an action is repeated consistently, it becomes a normal part of your life. The first time you wake up early, it feels painful. The 10th time, it is still uncomfortable, but after a few months, it becomes routine. The resistance fades, and what once required motivation becomes effortless. Ultimately, removing the need for motivation frees you from inconsistency. It allows you to make progress every day, regardless of how you feel. The key is to create habits and systems that keep you on track, ensuring that discipline becomes a part of who you are rather than something you struggle to maintain. The way you start your morning determines the trajectory of your entire day. Every morning presents a battle. a choice between taking control of the day or letting the day control you. Winning this first battle means starting with intention, discipline, and focus rather than allowing distractions, procrastination, or laziness to dictate your actions. If you take charge of your morning, you set a powerful tone for everything that follows. If you lose that first battle, it becomes much harder to recover momentum later in the day. One of the most common mistakes people make is beginning their day passively. They wake up, grab their phone, scroll through social media, check emails, and let external influences shape their thoughts before they have even gotten out of bed. This instantly puts them in a reactive state, responding to notifications, news, and messages rather than focusing on their own priorities. The problem with this approach is that it hands over control to the outside world before the day has even started. Instead of setting an intentional course, they allow distractions to dictate their mood, energy, and focus. Winning the first battle of the day means starting with discipline. It means getting out of bed as soon as the alarm goes off rather than hitting snooze multiple times. It means engaging in habits that energize and prepare you for the day ahead, whether that's exercise, meditation, journaling, reading, or simply taking a few moments to set clear intentions. The first hour of your day should be designed to strengthen your mindset, increase your focus, and put you in a proactive state rather than a reactive one. Momentum is a powerful force. When you start the day with a small but meaningful victory, it creates a ripple effect that carries into the rest of your tasks. If you make your bed, you begin with a sense of accomplishment. If you get in a workout, you build physical and mental energy. If you spend time planning your day, you gain clarity and direction. These small wins build confidence and reinforce the idea that you are in control of your actions. When you take charge early, it becomes easier to maintain that sense of control as the day progresses. Conversely, when you lose the first battle of the day, it often sets off a negative chain reaction. Hitting snooze multiple times makes you feel sluggish and behind schedule. Starting the morning with social media leads to mindless scrolling, making it harder to focus. Rushing through the morning without intention leads to stress and disorganization. When the day begins in chaos, it becomes much harder to regain control later. The secret to a productive and disciplined life is mastering the small choices that compound over time. The first choice of the day, whether to take control or let distractions take over, defines the mindset you carry into everything else. When you start strong, you build the momentum needed to stay focused, make better decisions, and maintain discipline throughout the rest of the day. Self-respect is built on a foundation of trust. Trust in yourself to follow through on the commitments you make. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are reliable, disciplined, and capable. Conversely, every time you break a promise to yourself, you weaken that trust, making it harder to believe in your own ability to achieve what you set out to do. So the way you treat your commitments to yourself determines your confidence, self-worth, and overall discipline. Many people struggle with self-discipline not because they lack ability, but because they have repeatedly taught themselves that their word does not matter. They set goals but don't follow through. They tell themselves they will wake up early, exercise, or start working on an important task, but when the moment comes, they make excuses. Each time this happens, it erodes their self-respect. When you consistently fail to meet your own expectations, you begin to doubt yourself. You lose confidence, and discipline becomes even harder because deep down, you no longer trust yourself to do what you say you will do. Keeping promises to yourself is one of the most powerful ways to build confidence. When you set a goal and actually achieve it, even if it is something as small as drinking more water or reading for 10 minutes a day, you prove to yourself that you are capable of change. Success in the smallest commitments leads to success in bigger commitments. Each time you follow through, your belief in yourself grows stronger. Over time, this creates a mindset of reliability. You no longer wonder if you can do something, you know you can because you have built a track record of discipline. It is easy to keep promises to others because there is external accountability. If you tell a friend you will meet them at the gym at 6 a.m., you are less likely to cancel because you don't want to let them down. But when it comes to personal promises, there is no one else watching. This is where true self-discipline is tested. The ability to keep commitments to yourself even when no one else will know if you fail is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck in cycles of procrastination and self-doubt. Breaking promises to yourself does more than just hurt your confidence. It creates a pattern of self-sabotage. If you constantly set goals and fail to meet them, your mind starts to expect failure. This is why so many people struggle to change their habits. They have broken so many promises to themselves in the past that they no longer believe they can succeed. The only way to reverse this cycle is to start small. Set a goal, follow through, and prove to yourself that your word matters. Each time you do what you said you would do, you strengthen not just your discipline, but your entire sense of self. You build the kind of respect that no one else can give you and no one else can take away. The key to true confidence and self-discipline lies in honoring your commitments, not just to others, but to yourself. Discipline is not just about what you choose to do, it is equally about what you choose not to do. The ability to say no is one of the strongest acts of self-discipline because it protects your time, energy, and focus. Every day, you are faced with countless distractions, temptations, and unnecessary obligations that pull you away from your goals. If you lack the discipline to say no, you will find yourself constantly reacting to other people's demands, engaging in activities that do not serve your purpose, and wasting valuable time on things that add no real value to your life. Many people struggle with saying no because they fear missing out, disappointing others, or feeling uncomfortable. They say yes to invitations they don't want to attend, agree to commitments that drain them, and entertain distractions that derail their progress. While it may feel easier in the moment to say yes, this habit slowly erodes discipline. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are indirectly saying no to something that truly matters. The more you give in to distractions, the harder it becomes to stay focused on what you actually want to achieve. Highly disciplined people understand that focus requires sacrifice. They know that they cannot do everything, so they are intentional about where they direct their attention. They say no to activities that do not align with their goals, even when those activities are fun or socially expected. They decline unnecessary meetings, avoid excessive social media scrolling, and resist temptations that would pull them away from their priorities. This ability to say no is not about deprivation, it is about making space for what truly matters. One of the most important areas where saying no is necessary is time management. Time is your most valuable resource, and how you use it determines your success. If you do not actively protect your time, it will be consumed by other people's agendas, meaningless tasks, and distractions. Learning to say no allows you to create boundaries that ensure your time is spent on what is truly important. This is why successful individuals schedule their priorities first and are unapologetic about turning down anything that does not align with their goals. Saying no is also essential when it comes to breaking bad habits. Temptations are everywhere: junk food, procrastination, unhealthy relationships, and endless digital distractions. Discipline means recognizing when something is pulling you away from your best self and having the strength to reject it. The more you practice saying no to these temptations, the stronger your self-control becomes. Just like a muscle, the ability to say no strengthens with use. The first few times might feel difficult, but over time, it becomes second nature. Ultimately, discipline is about focus, and focus is about elimination. The more you remove distractions, unnecessary commitments, and unproductive habits, the clearer your path to success becomes. Saying no is not about shutting yourself off from the world. It is about making intentional choices that protect your time, energy, and potential. The discipline to say no today creates the freedom to build the future you truly want. Growth does not come from comfort. It comes from pushing past limitations, embracing challenges, and doing what is hard now so that life becomes easier later. Self-discipline is the ability to endure discomfort in the present for the sake of a better future. Every great achievement, every transformation, and every step forward requires a willingness to step outside of what feels easy and familiar. The more you train yourself to tolerate discomfort, the stronger and more resilient you become. Most people avoid discomfort because it feels unpleasant. They want success, but they do not want the struggle that comes with it. They want to be healthy, but they resist the discipline of eating well and exercising. They want to build a business, but they avoid the risk and effort required. They want personal growth, but they shy away from the challenges that force them to evolve. This mindset keeps them stuck in a cycle of inaction, wishing for progress but never making it because they refuse to embrace discomfort as part of the process. The truth is, anything worth achieving requires sacrifice. You cannot build strength without resistance. You cannot gain wisdom without making mistakes. You cannot develop resilience without facing adversity. Discomfort is the price you must pay for growth, and self-discipline is the ability to make that payment willingly. Every time you choose to push through discomfort instead of retreating, you expand your limits. What once felt impossible starts to feel normal. The workout that once left you exhausted becomes easy. The skill that once felt frustrating becomes second nature. The discipline that once seemed unbearable turns into a habit. This is why the most successful people in any field actively seek discomfort. They know that growth does not happen when they stay in their comfort zones. They take on challenges, face fears, and do what others are unwilling to do. They wake up early when it would be easier to sleep in. They work on their craft when no one is watching. They make sacrifices that others won't make, which is why they achieve results that others never will. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stagnant is not talent or luck. It is the willingness to embrace discomfort as a necessary part of progress. The beauty of discomfort is that it is temporary, but the growth it leads to is permanent. When you consistently choose to endure short-term difficulty, you create long-term success. When you put in the work now, you reap the benefits later. The disciplined student who studies when they would rather relax builds a future of opportunity. The entrepreneur who grinds through uncertainty and setbacks builds a business that creates freedom. The athlete who trains in the rain, the cold, and the exhaustion builds a body and mind that can endure anything. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It requires stepping into discomfort, knowing that everything you desire is on the other side of it. Growth does not happen by accident, it happens by choice. The choice to do what is hard today so that life becomes easier tomorrow. Discipline is not just about willpower or motivation. It is about setting yourself up for success through intentional design. Your environment plays a crucial role in shaping your habits, decisions, and overall level of discipline. When your surroundings are aligned with your goals, discipline becomes effortless. When your environment is filled with distractions, temptations, and inefficiencies, self-discipline becomes an uphill battle. The key to success is not just about forcing yourself to be disciplined. It is about designing an environment that naturally supports the habits and behaviors you want to build. People often assume that discipline is purely an internal struggle, but in reality, external factors heavily influence behavior. If you are constantly surrounded by unhealthy food, it will take tremendous willpower to maintain a healthy diet. If your workspace is cluttered and full of distractions, focusing on deep work becomes significantly harder. If your phone is always within reach, buzzing with notifications, resisting social media becomes nearly impossible. On the other hand, when you deliberately remove obstacles and set up your surroundings to encourage the right choices, discipline becomes second nature. One of the most effective ways to strengthen discipline is to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. If you want to exercise consistently, place your workout clothes where you can see them as soon as you wake up. If you want to read more, keep books in visible places and remove unnecessary distractions from your living space. If you want to reduce screen time, create physical barriers by placing your phone in another room when working or using apps to block distracting websites. Small changes in your environment can have a massive impact on your ability to stay focused and consistent. Your social environment is just as important as your physical surroundings. The people you spend time with influence your discipline, mindset, and behaviors more than you realize. If you are surrounded by people who lack discipline, procrastinate, or engage in unproductive habits, you will naturally adopt the same behaviors. However, if you surround yourself with disciplined, motivated, and focused individuals, their energy and habits will inspire and push you to do the same. This is why successful people are intentional about who they allow into their inner circle. They understand that environment is contagious, and they choose to be around those who challenge them to grow rather than those who hold them back. Another key aspect of shaping your environment for discipline is structuring your daily routines. The more structured your day is, the less room there is for distractions and wasted time. Having a set morning routine, clear priorities, and a dedicated workspace creates an atmosphere where discipline is not something you have to force, it becomes automatic. When your environment is designed for success, your energy is spent on executing tasks rather than fighting against distractions. Ultimately, discipline is not about making life harder, it is about making the right choices easier. The best way to stay disciplined is to create an environment that supports the habits and behaviors that align with your goals. When your surroundings are set up for success, discipline stops feeling like a struggle and starts becoming a natural part of who you are. Failure is an inevitable part of any journey towards success, yet many people see it as a stop sign rather than what it truly is: feedback. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about resilience. It is about falling, learning, adjusting, and continuing forward, no matter how many times you stumble. The most disciplined and successful individuals in any field are not those who never fail, but those who refuse to let failure define them. They understand that every setback carries a lesson, and those lessons are essential for growth. The reason so many people struggle with discipline is that they expect perfection. They believe that if they miss one workout, eat one unhealthy meal, or fail to complete a task, they have ruined everything. This all or nothing mindset leads to discouragement and ultimately quitting. But real discipline is not about never slipping. It is about how quickly you recover when you do. One mistake does not erase all progress, just like one wrong turn does not mean the entire journey is over. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that successful people get back on track immediately, while others use failure as an excuse to stop altogether. Failure provides valuable data. Every time you fail, you gain insight into what went wrong, what needs improvement, and how you can do better next time. If you approach failure with the right mindset, it becomes a tool for progress rather than a reason to give up. A failed business venture teaches you what strategies don't work. A missed deadline reveals weaknesses in time management. A broken habit shows where your environment or mindset needs adjusting. When failure is viewed as feedback, it loses its power to discourage and instead becomes a stepping stone to success. One of the greatest skills discipline teaches is the ability to separate failure from identity. Many people take failure personally, believing that making a mistake means they are a failure. This could not be further from the truth. Failure is an event, not a definition. The most disciplined individuals do not attach their self-worth to their mistakes. They use those mistakes to improve. They do not dwell on what went wrong. They analyze it, adjust their approach, and move forward. This shift in mindset transforms failure from something to fear into something to embrace. The journey to mastery in any area, whether fitness, business, personal development, or relationships, is filled with setbacks. No one gets it right every time. What matters is not whether you fail, but how you respond when you do. Do you let it break you, or do you use it to build yourself stronger? Discipline is the ability to keep going despite failures, knowing that every misstep is simply feedback guiding you toward a better version of yourself. The more you learn from failure, the more resilient you become, and the closer you get to achieving the success you are working toward. Conclusion: self-discipline is the foundation of success, growth, and personal fulfillment. It is not about perfection or relying on fleeting motivation. It is about building habits, designing an environment that supports your goals, and having the resilience to keep going despite failures. Every small act of discipline strengthens your ability to take control of your life, shaping your mindset, actions, and future. Discipline starts with a strong purpose, a clear why that fuels your persistence. It grows stronger when you eliminate distractions, say no to what does not serve you, and embrace discomfort as the currency of growth. It thrives when you keep promises to yourself, reinforcing self-respect and confidence. Most importantly, it is not about never falling. It is about getting back up every time you do, learning from failure, and continuing forward with greater wisdom and strength. And Ultimately, discipline is a choice you make every single day. It is not reserved for a select few. It is available to anyone willing to commit, adjust, and push through challenges. The more you train this muscle, the more natural it becomes, turning what once felt difficult into second nature. When you master discipline, you gain the freedom to build the life you truly want, rather than settling for the one that circumstances dictate. The power is in your hands. Choose discipline, and success will follow.